Okay, take two. Yeah, this one is big and unwieldy, and it's not easy to unpack. Uh, how could I have gone this far without dipping into the star-spangled catastrophe that is Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the movie? What a ginormous shit sandwich, man. Okay, little background info. when I was when this movie came out in 1978, I would have been, I think, maybe 16, and I was actually kind of pumped for this movie. Peter Frampton, Frampton Comes Alive, former member of Humble Pie, yada yada yada. Um, the Bee Gees were at the height of their pop power at that point with the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, and a lot of people. Billy Preston, Aerosmith, my beloved Aerosmith, Alice Cooper, Steve Martin, um, you know, uh, Earth, Wind, and Fire. A lot of people. George freaking Burns. Anyway, so some big Star Spangled production that was, there I go with the word Star Spangled again. So, tape that across my face. Anyway, so this big thing with huge hype behind it. Robeert Stigwood was producing the thing. He was the guy. He was like the guy of the moment at this point. I mean, Saturday Night Fever, Grease. Um, he did Tommy back in '74. So I was kind of excited about this. And well, he didn't do. He produced. He was the guy. And so my wife and I were throwing back all the how did this thing ever get made? Who ever greenlit this thing? Where you have Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees as these fresh-faced heroes going around, miming the action because they really have no dialogue outside these Beatles songs, and and George Burns as Mr. Kite doing the entire narration, and it very very, and it's like, who wrote this? Who greenlit this? Who looked at the script and said this is good? Just yeah, wow. We'll build an entire town to make this movie. Wow, yeah, that's a sure sign that something's going to go wrong. Anyway, so insane amounts of money. You could feed a third world nation with all the money they were pouring into this thing. Um, and just nothing but just tons of Beatles songs performed by all these celebrities. Lo and behold, the thing the thing is panned by critics, bombs. Wow, who saw that coming? And is kind of recognized in the annals of American film, really, as one of the worst movies ever made. Yeah, I was actually in my teens really dead set on seeing this, and the more the critics ragged on it, the more I wanted to see it. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna be talking trash about my Aerosmith. So I was all about that. Just where we brainwash yourself into the dumbest possible position, just just because you refuse to look at anything that may possibly be bad, or because just kind of like, yeah, how could this be a bad idea? Man, how much Kool-Aid do you have to drink as a member of the American public? Well, I was drinking a lot of it, but like I said, I was 16, highly impressionable, autistic, whatever. And man, I'll tell you what. And I sat there, I kind of went around lying to myself for a while after seeing it. That was a good movie. No, it wasn't. This and I just, I just said to Heather, I was just like, who, pretty much the question I posed to you, who greenlit this disaster? Who, who looked at the script, said it's a good script, looked at these performances and said, this is good, and said, let's build a town. Yeah, let's build a town to film this in. And holy crap, people. And Heather, in her sage wisdom, said, yeah, who greenlit this? Who said this was a good idea? Well, and yeah, I mean, this is the exact kind of picture. If you want an example of why cocaine's a bad idea, it's right here. It's this movie and everything involved in it. There are a few shining lights in it. Aerosmith doing "Come Together" is pretty damn good. Earth, Wind, and Fire doing "Gotta Get You Into My Life" is also pretty damn good. Mostly it's just generic slop. I mean, it's just like Stigwood set all the, primarily Frampton and the Bee Gees up with just the most generic, just polished kind of current day music you could come up with to churn out these Beatles songs. I mean, you just everything on the soundtrack just said Drek. They're just, this is wow. You found a way to really neutralize these songs. I mean, like I said, there are exceptions. There are reasons to watch this. Sandy Farina is the leading lady. Don't know what the hell ever happened to her career, but goddamn if it's not, she's a good singer. She's a good singer. She does fine in a pretty thankless role. George Burns skipping around this town that they built, singing "Fixing a Hole" with these two little girls. I mean, Christ, it's not good, but it has to be seen to be believed. Donald Pleasance taking the lead vocal in "I Want You, She's So Heavy." Yeah, no joke. And it's just hearing that song, and it's a great tune, but hearing this kind of somewhat generic version, I mean, the song is so powerful and overwhelming. Even Stigwood couldn't sanitize it that much, but it's just something about hearing Donald Pleasance sing those lyrics like, I want you so bad. And it's kind of like, okay, I'm kind of okay with the fact that this exists, but despite a few shining lights and a few weird things, I don't know, why would anybody want to do this? Why would anybody want to see this? Well, most people didn't. Most sane people didn't. But hell, you can still find it on physical media in some places here and there. You can probably find it streaming. Hell, I think we've got a copy on VHS somewhere around here. It's almost like this artifact that you have to look at, and it's kind of like, my God, how did this thing ever get made? Why did this thing ever get made? And you sit there with your jaw on the floor that they allowed such a thing. And it's kind of an astonishing artifact just for that. Okay, folks. Anyway, that's kind of my take on Sergeant Pepper, and look it up if you haven't got anything better to watch. I mean, it will it will bend your brain on some level. Not on this is a good movie kind of level, but on some level it will make you walk away saying, "What the hell?" That's gotta be worth something.